Hey friends, so I'm just doing an unplanned, unannounced live, and I wanted to share a couple of insights and updates that I've learned on my health journey in the past like 9 months, but I'm also going to like go back a little bit further to kind of connect the dots for you. This is a little vulnerable for me, so bear with me, but I think it's really important. And I've had a lot of conversations with people who are struggling with similar things, so I just wanted to put this out here. I have some notes that I'm going to be looking at. This is like unedited, unfiltered thoughts. So again, just bear with me as we roll through this because it's kind of a lot, but it's also very helpful, and you kind of need all the pieces to put the puzzle together. About 9 months ago, I started pushing my fitness harder. So I wanted to do more HIIT. I started running again. I used to run and trail run all the time, and I hadn't been doing that as much, and lifting harder. And I noticed about 5 months ago something wasn't adding up. I was gaining weight, which to me, that's not an issue because muscle weighs more than fat. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but my body fat percentage was going up quite a bit. And I was like, what the heck's going on? So I got curious and I went down some research rabbit holes. And what I found out changed so much for me. It is also going through this process and this journey is also what fixed my sleep. And I have been trying to fix and improve my sleep for over 10 years. And not just the sleep, not just this fitness stuff, but this story goes deeper because 6 years ago, I healed my body dysmorphia and I shifted from no days off, I have to push harder, not listening to my body, to I'm listening and I'm actually now paying attention. And when my body sends me signals, I could hear them and do something about that. And so instead of pushing through, I listen and change and adjust. And that curiosity really helped me understand all this. And then I started working with a nutritionist and doing some other things to try to correct some of the issues that I was seeing about 5 months ago. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm someone who sees patterns, and I take all these different pieces of information and I see the whole system. So today I just want to share more about that, about energy availability, about macros, about sleep, and how they all connect, because this is not just about fitness. This is about having the energy and the vitality to show up in your life and to be more successful, to have better relationships. It's about like the energy to like live a full life. Again, I'm sharing what's working for me and the research that supports that. I highly encourage you to do your own research, work with your own providers. And the most important thing is advocate for yourself. If something is wrong, keep advocating for yourself. Gonna give you a bit of a timeline just so that this all makes sense. So as I mentioned before, 6 years ago is when I healed my body dysmorphia. And for those of you who don't know my background, I was an athlete. I swam and played water polo in college. I've been competing since I was 7 years old. And it was a very long, hard journey. I'll talk about that in other videos, so I won't like go into all that here, but I'm used to pushing myself. And when 6 years ago I healed my body dysmorphia and start listening to my body, that allowed me to go through a bunch of other shifts and changes over the years. So after that, I really started working out differently and actually just took some time off and like did a lot less than I was used to doing. I also then went through a full gut health transformation. Doing that body dysmorphia healing allowed me to go through this gut health transformation, healing candida, SIBO, leaky gut. I have another video about that. If you're interested, I can send it to you. And so I had some years where it was about rebuilding, learning to work with my body. And over the years, then I've started getting more active. And last year, which was 2025, I started to again go back into higher gear with fitness, more lifting, more running, more HIIT. And then my body again started sending those signals. My weight was going up again, which is not necessarily a problem, but my fat percentage was going up. And so then I started to do the research, and the root cause turned out to be low energy availability, which happens a lot, especially in female athletes. And I was undernourishing myself by over 1,000 calories a day sometimes. That's massive. And I wasn't doing it on purpose. And I thought I was eating healthy. I've been gluten-free. I really just wasn't eating enough carbs and just generally underfueling. I was like, oh, I'm getting my 100 grams minimum of protein a day, but that's not enough. And so again, like I thought I knew my body, but I'd never tracked macros or my total calories per day. And so that was a big thing that I started doing and what changed for me. So low energy availability is when your body really doesn't have enough fuel for everything that it's been asked to do. So it starts conserving and storing and breaking down. And there are metrics that you can look at, like your, body fat percentage. And there's other metrics that gave me clues and that I've been watching since I discovered this, like my resting heart rate, your HRV, your VO2 max. Those are very helpful indicators of where you're at in your actual health. Again, I've never tracked macros before. And again, I was just consistently underfueling. And I find that especially women have really no idea, because at least in the generation that I was raised in, we were taught that carbs were bad, and they're not. You really need them. Let's go into sleep a little bit here. So this is also a very interesting puzzle piece, because I have been trying to fix my sleep for over 10 years. And I even did a sleep study, actually, I did that over 15 years ago, and I didn't get any insight from it. It didn't help me. They gave me Ambien. They prescribed Ambien for me. I did it for 30 days. Yeah, it helped me sleep better, but I was like, we're not fixing the root problem. Something is still off. So I just stopped taking that. And since then, I've done the supplements, the routines, protocols, and it gave me micro improvements, especially the past couple years, but never really actually fixed my sleep. And then when I started eating more through this whole process, that's what actually has started shifting my sleep massively. I've now sleeping better than I ever have, since I can remember. And I'm waking up feeling rested. And I've heard so many women say, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I can't go back to sleep. And based on the research that I've read and talking to my nutritionist, that's often your body running low on calories, on fuel. And so your cortisol spiking and your hormones can be thrown off. There's a lot of things that are happening here. Of course, there's other reasons. I don't want to oversimplify this, but underfueling tends to be the biggest one, especially for active women. You can learn more about this. I'm going to link to some of the people that I follow and talk about this in more depth. Again, this is not my area of expertise. I'm pulling the pieces together and figuring all these things out. Stacy Sims is a really great women's health expert, and she also shares a lot on not just women's health, but sleep, nutrition, all of the things. She's also shared that fasting doesn't work for women. And I was in that, my baseline I'd fast. I wouldn't eat anything before my workout. Definitely. I sometimes wouldn't eat a meal, and my first food wouldn't be till 2 p.m. And, I was really doing the opposite of what I needed. So I was skipping breakfast, and disrupts your circadian rhythm. And like me, when I started this, I was thinking, I'm not hungry in the morning. And I've heard a lot of people say that. And that's just because your metabolism has adapted to your patterns and your habits. And it's not a sign that you don't need food. So if you're feeling like you're not hungry, that's not necessarily a sign that you're not hungry. It's just how your body's gotten used to what you've been doing. So from Stacy Sims, I've learned eating in the morning helps set your circadian rhythm. You get genuinely tired at night, and then your sleep will also improve because of that. And then I noticed after a few weeks of eating in the morning, and maybe 1 or 2, I've started I'd wake up hungry, and that is what is supposed to happen. And once I started nourishing myself properly again, my sleep just started transforming, becoming more consistent. For the first time, like almost in my life, like even when I was a kid, I can remember having trouble with sleep. And here's the thing, sleep is the foundation for every single marker of health. So many experts, Stacy Sims, Huberman, talk about this. It is just the baseline. If you're not sleeping well, it's so hard to do anything else because your body can't recover, your brain can't store your memories. Like you cannot function at a high level. So correcting the low energy availability, it doesn't happen overnight, takes minimum 3 months, could take a year or more, just depending on how long you've been in a deficit. Here's what I've learned. Again, like this might be different for everyone. I've done a lot of research on this, and I will link to some of the people that I follow and gotten the information from. The three things that need to happen together: you have to eat enough, you have to get like your body the calories that it needs, and you can increase it gradually, not all at once. Sleep again is massive, and then you have to pull back on the intense workouts. You can't keep like going crazy. So that was hard at the beginning, so I was like, oh, I'm so excited about all this stuff, but I noticed also when I pulled back, I think all the sleep started getting better. Like those three things, eating, the sleeping, and pulling back on the workouts, are massively tied together. So it's super important to do those three things. And I actually had like a slight regression recently because I started pushing my workouts a little harder. So I've now had to like pull back again and make sure that I'm not overextending myself. So when, again, you're introducing your workouts, just make sure you start at a lower intensity than you're used to. And again, you can look at the research for this, but I've now, just as an example, I'm keeping my heart rate under 130. And when I see that my resting heart rate improves, so that my resting heart rate goes down and my HRV goes up, heart rate variability is HRV. When that goes up and that's consistent for a few weeks, then I can start slowly introducing more intensity. Again, I'm just looking at my notes here, keep your heart rate from getting too high. And think of it, you gotta make sure your nervous system is regulated, and your hormones also need to stabilize. Think of it as really rebuilding trust with your body. You've been asking it to perform empty, and now your body needs proof that you have enough fuel so that it can restabilize and be operating from a more optimal standpoint. It does take time. Again, minimum recovery is minimum 3 months, could be a year and a half. Couple other practical steps. Like if any of this is resonating and you're like, oh, like what should I do? I would recommend, and I didn't quite do it in this order, but looking back, I wish I would have. First, before you do or change anything, get a nutrition and like calorie tracker, macro tracker, MyFitnessPal or Chronometer. They have free versions. I ended up getting on the paid of Chronometer. Do 3 to 4 days tracking what you're eating, everything. If you have a scale, that helps. I didn't originally, but then I got one just because I wasn't sure if I was estimating correctly. You could get one on Amazon. They're like 15 or 20 bucks. But getting that a calorie tracker so you can actually see what you're eating and how many calories and what your macros are every day. Macros are carbs, protein, and fat. And then get a true baseline so that you understand what you're doing. You might be okay, and then it might be something else, right? And that's everyone's individual. Not everyone's going to have the same path. Then calculate your actual caloric needs. There's calculators, and I'll put this in the comment. If you just search TDEE, total daily energy expenditure, there's calculators that can figure out, based on how active you are, about, and your age and other metrics, what your weight is, about how many calories you need per day. So these are super, super helpful for understanding what you need. Again, I was severely underfueling for my age, my weight, and the amount of activity I was doing every day. Let me see what else, if there's anything here. Again, I will put some of these recommendations in the comments below. And then, yeah, just like compare and see what needs adjusting. I would also recommend, especially for women's health, but she talks about all men and women's health. Stacy Sims is great. Also, Andrew Huberman, obviously Huberman Lab podcast. He has so much great stuff, and you can go on his website and he has an AI search thing. So you can type in questions to that and it will bring up episodes and research that he's talked about, because he has so many podcast episodes and they're so long. So it's sometimes hard to find the information you need. That's a really helpful resource as well. Now, I just want to quickly talk about the bigger picture here, the belief connection. This is not about macros. It's not just about calories and macros. It's the pattern of not nourishing yourself or taking care of yourself, your body, your business, and your relationships. And this is what I work with my clients on. Or having a belief that you need to earn rest or that you need to earn food and you just keep grinding in order to prove that you deserve those things. I shifted that belief 6 years ago for my body, healing my body dysmorphia. And that's what's allowed me to heal my gut health. Actually, because after every meal, like with the gut health stuff, like I was feeling bloated and very uncomfortable literally every single time after I ate. That's not normal. Well, I know that now, but I didn't for a very long time. And healing those beliefs around my body has allowed me to stay curious and like what's shifting these things. So now I can be healthier than I've ever been before. And I'm so looking forward to that. Like, I know I'm going to be able to get back to working out harder once I recover and properly fuel and take care of my body. Doing the deep belief work, right? If we just try to change what's on the surface or change things, it's not going to stick. This is why so many people do fad diets and they just don't work, or they don't stick, or someone does it for 90 days and then they fall back into their patterns and they have like the yo-yo dieting. So we really do have to address our deep beliefs and heal some of those things, because they become signals for our body. And you can change that. Instead of feeling a threat, you can change that to a signal and then do something about it. Again, the core beliefs of what I do, or the core work I do with my clients, is this identity and shifting subconscious beliefs work and the patterns that keep people stuck. Our subconscious brain is 10 million times more powerful than our conscious brain. And so if we're not actually addressing those core beliefs, it's going to be really hard to make long-term consistent changes. When you remove those blocks, like, you're going to feel better mentally, physically, professionally. Your relationships are going to improve. Everything in your life is going to improve. It's really that simple. When you start addressing these blocks, like, things will start shifting. And I'm not saying it's going to just like magically change your life overnight. Like, as I mentioned, some of these things take months to change, especially with physical health. But I've noticed shifts happen for me in my business with abundance and money and clients coming in when I've addressed limiting beliefs or blockages. So, to wrap this all up, and I'd love if you have questions about any of this, please drop them in the comments or message me, DM me. I'd love to answer them for you. I'm really sharing this because I want you to think differently about your own health, not just how you're nourishing your body, but how you're nourishing yourself in every area of life. One of the affirmations I love is, I allow myself to rest and still call in all my desires. You don't need all the answers all at once. Just stay curious and advocate for yourself. I'll drop a list again in the comments of the experts and accounts that I follow and that I trust. People that are doing real research-backed work, especially for women too, but a lot of this stuff applies to anyone. And one other thing I need to say that's super important, I probably need to do a whole separate video on this, but you can't just ask AI, because AI still will not put all the pieces together. You have to tell it the right pieces of the puzzle to put together. And I've noticed that a lot. Like, I've used AI to help me on this, but I have to say, like, also look at this, also look at this data, pull my Apple Health data in. If you have an app like Apple Health or Garmin or whatever health tracker, Whoop, or a Ring, these can be super powerful tools to help, but you have to know all of the pieces to pull in so that AI can help you analyze it. And then you have to make sure to tell AI, please look at research back sources, please cite your sources. Are you just giving me this information, or is this inferred? Where is this coming from? So make sure you do that, not just for your health stuff, but for your business stuff as well. AI is still wrong 30% of the time. If you're someone who's been pushing harder, not eating enough, sleeping poorly, and you just think like, I know there's something more, you feel like there's blockages in your business, this could be your missing piece. And this is the work again that I do with people. So helping them shift limiting beliefs that are keeping them stuck, whether it's around your energy, your health, your relationships, your business, because I want you to transform those beliefs so that you can live a happier, healthier, more successful, more fulfilling life. Like I want that for everyone. And you're going to start showing up differently when you do that too. And then more success and abundance will follow. So if any of this at all today resonated and you either have limiting beliefs you want to work through, or you have questions and you want to work through this worthiness, let's chat. Message me, book a call with me. I'd love to help you. Again, if you have any questions at all on this, message me. And yes, I hope you're well. I hope you're loving life and thriving. And if you're not, I know that there are answers out there to help you feel better, sleep better, all the things. Uh, this has been a nice, long, impromptu live. So I appreciate you and take care. I'll see you soon. If you enjoyed this video, follow me here for more tips on how to live a happier, healthier, more successful life.